Alright, hi everyone. That was just my way of making a little intro there. I don't know. Still trying to figure out this live stream thing. But okay, let's get to it. So tonight I'll do sort of a little bit what I was doing yesterday, I guess. Which is I think I'm going to, we'll go back to browse around on Reverb and just sort of look and have a conversation with people and viewers and subscribers and whoever. Hi. And just sort of talk about like gear and stuff. And let me know if audio is good or bad, or last night it seemed to be a little bit hot. There was sort of some issues with the sort of breaking up. But anyways, you know, I did a live stream earlier today, which was sort of teaching some blues licks. Maybe we'll do more of those. And I sort of thought this would be a fun thing again to do tonight. You know, I'm probably gonna browse Reverb anyways for fun and to relax. So let's just hang out, you know. All right. So, and as always, please, if you have a question, comment, or there's something you want to, you know, talk about or gear you're into, leave me a comment. Please feel free to use the super chat feature to make sure that I see that right away, and you know, that'd be great too. But let's jump into it. So I'm going to go right to sort of what's in my feed. It's always a great place to sort of kick off this conversation. And you know, let's see what's in here and what sort of makes a thing sort of pop up. I've been very interested recently in these Moog 12-stage phasers. I don't know how familiar anyone is with this line of pedals. They're obviously long discontinued. The delay is exceedingly, what's the word? Expensive. And the 12-stage phaser has really gone down in I don't know if it's gone down. I just haven't tracked the price on this over time. Let's do so. But I'm surprised how inexpensive it is compared to everything else in the line. $499, $500. That's still a lot of money. Certainly not in any way trying to suggest that it is not a lot of money. But I don't know why, of all the things in the Moog line, why the phaser is just not as expensive as everything else, because it sounds awesome. There had been, when these were first released, they'd actually done plugins, like digital versions of these as plugins for Pro Tools, which I actually use. This is back in, these came out in, gee, it had to be 99-ish, somewhere around there, 98. It's an old Deja vibe. Now, this is funny, I was just talking about this pedal yesterday, the Moog Mini Fugers. This line of pedals, which I have, actually have this boost. I won't get it because I feel like I'm asking for green screen calamities if I move. Anyways, this pedal here, this one's pretty beat up too for looking for 115. You can see estimated 65 to 90. I think I paid 80 some bucks for mine I bought on Reverb. It's a very much a clean boost, like really gonna just push your sound just so much louder. I actually had used it with the expression pedal, where you can basically set it as a unity volume or less, and I was then using it as a volume pedal, and then I would do sometimes where it would be a volume pedal but plus then the boost feature. And I had that to sort of, because I was using a stereo rig and I wanted to balance out what was happening in the in this 2 stereo channels. I needed a little control over an octave fuzz that was just super loud. Let's see. So Flying V 2016 $9.99. White's cool color. I wish they had done like covered humbuckers on these, right? Am I wrong for wanting that? I feel like they just look so... Wouldn't a nice shiny nickel or chrome cover look so good on that? I don't understand why Gibson does not do that, like a sort of more traditional looking Flying V anymore. I don't know. And this MF flange, this is a good pedal, super flangey. It really needs an additional control of as like a mix knob, but it is a really great flange. I have a couple demos of this on my site. I've used it a lot. It's currently on my board now. 65 black Jaguar for 2,595. Maybe refin? That seems so... Why does it seem so... Seems so cheap. Short scale, obviously, on the Jaguars. Yeah, refinished to black. I like Jaguars. I like them more than Jazz Masters. I like the new, or new-ish American Pro, which has the out-of-phase switch. Look at that checking on the neck. That's crazy. Check those out if you're into a Jaguar. Let's see what else. See, doesn't this look better with covers? Right? Is that wrong? Just put covers on it. Why does it have to be custom shop to get humbucker covers? I think even the Epiphones come with humbucker covers, though I don't remember offhand. This looks like now we're starting to get to things that we were looking at last night. So not a ton of new stuff posted today. That's fine. It's all right. You know, just having fun. Just look at some stuff, you know. Let's check out electric guitars. Let's go view all listings. I want to look at some things that are one second. Saw this Reverend's always catch my eye. My Reverend baritone plays so good. Oh, it's incredible. This is interesting. Sorry, I'm getting a little off track from not what I was planning, but maybe I'll watch this. Where's this shipping from? Texas. When recently sort of thinking about like, would I be into making some sort of parts caster? Maybe getting like the dream neck I've always wanted from, you know, order from Warmouth or something. But the cost of that was pretty expensive. So I'm just sort of keeping an eye out for bodies and stuff. Anyway, so let's do what I was going to do here. So I want to go to condition. Let's do non-functioning, poor, fair. Now, there's a big jump up to good. So let's keep it there for now. And then I'm going to just bring that now, limit that down to Fenders and Gibsons. Let's see what we get. It needs fretboard. Hold on. Needs a fretboard and bridge and tailpiece. Just finishing. Sorry, I should be reading this out loud so that you can know what I'm reading. This guitar, about this listing, needs a fretboard and bridge tailpiece. Could use a refinishing, but that's not a necessity. There's a treasure trove of valuable parts here. If someone needs factory gives them parts or wants to use a few parts, you may already have to fix this. This guitar is fixing to undergo a refurbish job. But if someone wants it as is, it'll be an easy fix. Otherwise, I'll fix it myself and price will go up. I'm going to say that they'll never get around to fixing it up. I wish there were more pictures. I'd be curious to know why the fretboard's so bad. But I like to look at these types of listings because I feel like you can find some good steals that are maybe not as bad as you think. Like, let's check this out. Needs new bridge saddles for both E strings, and the previous owner was a smoker. Okay. I do have to say, having a stinky guitar case is not great. But what's going on with the saddles? A couple chips, wears, whatever. How's the... I don't know, frets look alright, but that's pretty far up the neck. I mean, for 91, so that guitar will technically, what, be vintage starting next year, right? You know, not a bad deal. What's the sticker on here? Is it like a Canadian flag? Case made in Canada, it says. It looks like. Interesting. Where's this shipping from? It doesn't matter. I'm surprised there's a lot of these Mustangs and stuff that have been refinished. So surprising that people put so much time and effort into them. It's an 80s Strat. Non-functioning. The money here is in the neck and the pickups. Looks to be Bill Lawrence blade pickups. No markings or name on it, but it is the consensus. Body is cracked. Well, you know, did have a recent 12% price drop. That's okay. You know, people gotta do their best to sell stuff. I'm going to be really curious to see how Reverb sort of dries up with listings or explodes with listings now that everyone's stuck at home and so many stores and shops are just closed because of this coronavirus. It's a very serious situation going on. So that's sort of why I'm doing this, because I'm stuck at home and you probably are too. And I figured, hey, let's just hang out and talk about guitars, right? So once again, please leave me a chat if you see something. I'm seeing people come in and out. Something you want to talk about, questions. So this is a firewood. This is a Firebrand, the SG. I just mentioned this guitar. I actually used a couple photos of it in my most recent video about vintage guitars. I bought the Paul. You can see this Firebrand guitars, the logo is actually branded into the wood, right? The hot brand. And let's just go through the pictures overall. So these are really interesting. They're walnut. 3-piece neck with a volute. Some of these pickups, depends on the models, they're T-tops or they're the Tim Shaw, which are now both sort of collectible for various reasons. People were ripping them out at the time. So some people will pay a pretty dollar for those. You'll see that the toggle switch has been moved to be part of this initial or this overall cavity route back here. It's you know, it's not a huge departure from where it would normally be on like an SG. On a Les Paul, it's a much, or on the Paul, not the Les Paul, but the Paul version of this guitar. It's a bigger difference, although I sort of don't mind that positioning. But that's just sort of a cost savings thing. They have the metal tuning pegs and buttons, which I like. And then they have this sort of like, this finish is, it's walnut with like a black paint speckle. It's really weird. It looks like, is it supposed to be that way or is it an error? And now here's what I was talking about, where the pickups have been, in this era, a lot of times they're stamped with the actual date, which is nice. The guitar I just bought, it was stamped with my birthday, and that's why I bought it. So pickup and I are twins. Anyways, so here's a, you know, this is $800. Original pickup in the neck. The bridge pickup's been replaced with another Gibson pickup. It's pretty hot. Wow. Very little fretwear. Finish on the neck is worn along with where your forearm would rest along the top. Small crack at the body joint appears to solely be in the finish. There's no movement to it when flexed. So, you know, watch something like that. I'm not looking to really buy anything right now, but I like to watch a bunch of stuff to see what's happening sort of in the market and whatnot. You know, track stuff, you never know. You see I'm watching this guitar. This is a little project guitar. It's been refinished, I think, twice. It's currently been sort of semi-stripped. And the neck is a, I think they say it's a Warmoth replacement neck that's not been finished. Like, it needs to be sanded fully and whatnot. Yeah. Anyways, interesting sort of project guitar if you're looking for stuff like that. Like I said, I'm sort of interested in doing something like that. But I'll probably never get around to it, knowing me. All right. Wow, this is Les Paul Special 2013, $4.99. What's wrong with this? Is there really anything that wrong with it? See, this is where I find like this, you can find really amazing deals sometimes. If you don't mind the guitar being a little beat up or dinged, or someone just thinks it's in worse shape than it is sometimes, or they don't want to like have the guitar possibly come back with any sort of like rejection, so they you make sure that the like quality is listed sort of worse than it is. Anyways, so let's just quickly genuine USA Gibson, 7.6 pounds, lots of honest wear to play body and neck. Headstock repair. Ooh. Well, it wouldn't be a Gibson without a break in the headstock. That is a new song. All right. We got a comment here from Mike Colgate. Hi, Mike. Beautiful piece, but I don't play mine or my Strat. I sort of missed what that was for. Which guitar were you talking about, or which piece of gear? Let me know, Mike, 'cause I'm sort of curious to know. Oh yeah, you can sort of see. So sorry, jumping back to this guitar, you can sort of see where this headstock was chipped pretty bad. Look at this glue everywhere. What did they use? Like Elmer's? Anyways. It's a bummer. Flying V from 82. I like. Oh wait, let's just check it out and maybe drool on over it for a minute. So, SG Special with P90s, Polaris White. Photos don't look very good. Reverb automatically changes the condition to fair because of the headstock repair. I don't believe that it should be for it is a solid repair and it is only a cosmetic thing. Interessante. Mike says, I went to Jackson, a 24-fret compound radius, locking nut, Floyd Rose. When I play the Gibson or Strat after playing the Jackson Pro, there's... let me try this again. Sorry, Mike. Let me learn how to talk. Mike says that he went to Jackson. I assume Jackson Guitars. 24 frets, compound radius, locking nut, Floyd Rose. When he plays the Gibson or Strat after playing the Jackson Pro, they're like putting my hands in dog poop. Yes, I know exactly what you mean. There's a huge difference in the quality of a well done modern guitar versus like something that is trying to be vintage spec or that is vintage. And by vintage I mean like, 50s, 60s spec. For some things it's appropriate, like this is like a Gretsch sort of parlor style guitar, but it's sort of really designed for like sort of like I sort of use it for like a Delta blues sort of sound. But it was like $150, $160 or something. Almost like it's not an expensive guitar. And I think like that's one of the things that bothers me now about like some of the Gibson like specials. The double cuts have been pretty priced, pretty fair. But I feel like when you look at some of the like there's the new SG Special in Pelham Blue, P90 pickups. Now I really like that guitar, but it's like $1,400. Like, it's not like it's loaded with features. I mean, you're paying for American craftsmanship in the logo, a big part of it. But and I played one recently when I was talking about it last night. I really liked that guitar. Let me pull it up just so we can sort of know what I'm talking about. Was it 2019 SG Special? Yeah, one of these right here. It's like, this was a great guitar. I really liked it, but it just their cost that I would assume their profit margin on this has got to be pretty good, and it seems crazy to pay that when you can get like a Reverend for a lot less. And Reverend guitars are something that I really like, and will sing praises of a lot. Let's look at some Reverends while we're talking about it. And they still will sort of have that vintage sort of throwback looking, to them. But they're let's make sure, let's look at like brand new, here's like a sort of a similar looking shape, $899, and the specs on this are going to be 12-inch radius, 22 frets, not 24. I know the Jackson you have 24, but it's like I've yet to play a Reverend there where I haven't been like, this is a great guitar. Sort of curious. These Reverend Sensei's 290s. I wonder what these are like on the used market. I feel like they don't come up that often. 645. Right. They didn't even come with a case. Hold on. I like this rabbit hole we're going down. Stick with us. Stick with me, Mike. All right, Mike says, Lord knows I appreciate the nostalgia, but it's like traveling backwards. I do enjoy your show. Just spoiled. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's like you like the nostalgia. For me, one of the things I find hard is, you know, thank you for saying that you like the show. One of the things I find is sort of hard is the music that I play, or maybe I'm better at playing. So I don't know. It's tough to say, right? Is I think more like a country blues, sort of Lightning Hopkins influenced, you know, Son House influenced, you know, thing, but very Louisiana Red, and then, you know, start getting into some, you know, obviously Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and all the classic Chicago guys, and big Buddy Guy fan, right? He's over the shoulder, this Buddy Guy right there. So sometimes I feel like the modern spec guitars, it's like, oh, is it going to have the right sound? But to me, it's sort of an issue of like, maybe the pickups are just hotter than they need to be because they're more modern sounding pickups, and you just need something with like a vintage voice. And in fact, my Reverend baritone I have, that's got their rail hammers. I'm pointing to it. There it is. It's in the photo here. There it is. That's got modern, like, their rail hammer pickups, but because they have their bass contour roll-off knob, you can really get a nice sort of sound. I just really like the controls on that. Anyways, let's go down this rabbit hole of this Reverend Sensei 290. My voice is cracking. I'm so excited. All right. Cream is a discontinued color. It's one of the most comfortable guitars I've played. Pianos are some of the quietest too. Slight discoloration on the binding along the 15th fret, but not bad. The back of the neck has been wet sanded ever so slightly by my local luthier to take off the stickiness of the neck. So now it's matte and smooth as butter. No scratches, dents, stings. Comes with a Roadrunner soft shell case. Okay, so I don't know what anyone else's experiences with Roadrunner cases, but I'm not so into them. Anyways, anyone else? Comments, thoughts, things you're into, things you want to talk about? Let's hash out gear. Feel free to use the super chat feature to make sure I don't miss your question. So, Mike, sorry I didn't see that right away. Anyways, let's go down the. Let's see what else. However many more of these might be up here. Only the two right now on the cream. There's dare we open a new window? Should we be so bold? Let's see how this works. Reverend Guitars. Clearly I've been here before. They have a great lineup of things right now. Ken Haas from Reverend, if you happen to be watching, hi. Thanks for answering my email a while back. Mike says, oh, I love the 68 Strat sound, especially clean. It's just cumbersome now. Yeah, completely. I've made a Google like spreadsheet recently. Well, recently as in like a couple years ago. I went down all the guitars I own and all the guitars that I've sort of played but couldn't buy but liked, and wrote down all the specs that I like, so I could figure out what are sort of the common denominators between things that I like in guitars. And although I really love my made in Japan 60s reissue Strat, it doesn't have a lot of the like. It's sort of the outlier from everything else. And it has the 7 1/4 radius, which, boy, that really can kill your sustain and your bends. And that's, I guess, part of what makes it sound like a guitar from that era. But when I play my Gibson Les Paul, which has really short, you know, tiny frets, but it's got even just the 12-inch fingerboard radius, it doesn't choke out. Or to talk about Reverend again, or I have an Ibanez with 12-inch straight, not even compound. Such a difference. So much more flexibility in being able to do things. Anyways, let's talk about a guitar that I'm really into right now. Is it the Jetstream in this shell pink? Oh, look at this. Does anyone else think this looks great? Because I think this looks great. But sort of since we're talking Strats, you know. Well, I'm going to cough. It's just because I'm talking so much. I hope. Anywho, so this is sort of Reverend likes to do a lot of P90s and humbucker combos. So there's a 3 P90s and sort of a 5-way toggle switch that their bass roll off. But I love this color combo. This is Merchant City is I think in Glasgow or something. But I just love this sort of this like minty pickguard, but like the pink and the old vintage tinted cream. Just like everything looks like it shouldn't go together, but it looks great. They sort of did a version of this in Mulberry Mist sort of for this 2020 release. But that's the best, right? This is sort of what my baritones coloration is like. Is in this Oceanside green. I almost wouldn't mind having a matching pair. But Mike did modify the volume knob placement. It was in the way of the whammy bar. He says Jackson should move it. Yeah, you know, things sort of sometimes aren't great. Sometimes the placement's weird. Yeah. I'm always sort of like, which guitar is it? One of my guitars, the whammy catches on the cable all the time. And it's like, why is this just here? Like, can't it just be in a different spot? Anyways. I'm just going to look this up on Reverb real quick. The Jetstream 390. Westbury guitars. Mike Colgate says that my first real guitar was in the early 80s. Ever hear of Westbury? No, I don't think I know those or know that brand. Tell me more. Should I look it up? Let's look it up. Do you know was it a do you know if it was what it was? Does it have a specific model number? If you see something on here, let me know. I'm getting a lot of Supros. I'm guessing this is not what we're talking about. But yeah, what was the, tell me more about the Westbury. I want to learn more. Educate me. These Supros do look cool. There's a baritone. I want to see what the scale length is on this baritone. 26.75. That's a nice scale length for a baritone. 12-inch fingerboard radius. It's like everything I was just saying I like. I have to say one of the reasons I went with the Reverend for the baritone was because it had that bass contour switch, so you can roll some of the bass off. If you're into baritones, they can be a little booming at times. Let's check their hand-picked deals and steel and see what's going on. Like, Mike says, looked like a Les Paul Jr. Okay. Well, I'll keep my eye out. I'm curious. All right, look at this. Price deals on full tone pedals. This is crazy. Full tone stuff. If you don't know it, you should. I mean, one, I'm surprised the used prices are usually fairly comfortable. The new prices can sometimes be quite a bit. You'll see that this pedal is normally $220, marked down to $189 because of the sale. This Robin Trower Overdrive, $236, $197 on sale. I wonder what this is like actually on the used market. I'd be curious to see. Yeah, used, 150, the low end 139, 115. So, of course, that's in South Korea. So that's certainly not in my shipping things I'm looking to do right now. Wait for that for forever. Pay some sort of duties and taxes or whatever is going to go on there. Yeah, let's get out just the full tone stuff. Sorry, I'm all over the place. So what do we want to look at? We want to look at Gibsons, Fenders. It looks fun. Taylors. Paul Reed Smith. Let's do that. Anyone here a fan of the PRS line? I have to say I do not own one, but I've played a fair share. The SCs are, I think, a lot of really good guitar for the dollar. That's, like so. Mike was leaving comments, so we were talking about modern specs versus vintage specs, and PRS is a really great example of a company that makes sort of like the perfect guitar, like figuring all the things that are wrong with guitars structurally and controls wise and pickups and knobs and switches, and is really trying to like make a perfect guitar. And then, but it still can sort of sound vintage. And I think like you look at what's that, Silver Sky, John Mayer model, like obviously he's a huge vintage Strat guy. That guitar, certainly have a recording I've heard of it on YouTube, of which there's a bajillion. It always sounds really great. Yeah. Wow, this is a true 10 top. This is a really great price for this. $2,500. The PRS 10 tops is sort of like one of their highest quality woods. And you can go on their site. They have a whole thing to describe like what makes something a 10 top. You can see a lot of flame on this. I wonder, is that a crack? What's going on there? A little beat up, nothing crazy. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. Just some. That stuff doesn't bother me. I'd rather have a really great sounding playing guitar than, something that's not and is perfectly clean or something, Yeah, PRS, they have all different radius options. So Mike could ask about, do they have a compound radius? Yeah, there are a bunch of different models, sort of to fit sort of what you might be looking for. Like the Silver Sky John Mayer model, which was sort of, I don't want to use the word controversial or whatever, but it got a lot of press. at the time. That has a 7 1/4 radius, but I think most of their stuff is let's see, is either compound or I think 12 or higher. So let's look at this sort of like let's look at the S2. That's sort of like the SE or student edition is sort of their lowest tier, and those are like around the $600 to $800 range. Those are really great guitars. S2s would be your sort of next big step up from there. They have a CE, I think it is, which is where they're bolt-on, if you like a bolt-on sort of snap with a longer scale length. See, does it list the radius here? Be surprised if it doesn't. I actually don't see the radius listed. Strange. Well, if you haven't played a PRS, certainly if I get a chance to try one, I think this is, there's an SE version of this guitar. It's semi-hollow with the trem system. It's a really nice guitar. And there's a hardtail version of that too, which I'll pull up in the SE, I think. Yeah, right here. These are really nice. Really nice playing guitars. Anyways. Oh, we have a new all right, so we have another comment here from Demetrius, and he says, it's only me or Reverb prices are the highest of all used guitar sites. I think that's probably pretty fair to say, yeah. I think you might find better deals on like I don't know where you're located in the globe, but Craigslist, or there used to be G-Base used to be really popular. I know like here in New York City, there's a lot of listings that are on Craigslist, but they are sort of all over the place. It's sort of hard to find the thing you're looking for. So you have to be like looking all the time, and then maybe you come across like the thing that you want. And I think that like when I was finding like on G-Base, it was often that site was only really useful if you were going to that music store and looking at their inventory. And most of those music stores have now switched to Reverb. And I've talked to a couple of those music store owners, and they just get more traffic and they sell more stuff through Reverb, so they've all converted. And I think that's like one of the things like, okay, like this Electro Harmonix pedal. If I'm buying it, I love going over and looking at sort of this estimated price guide, but also seeing this chart that'll show like what the last 12 months to see what prices have done, you know. And I think this is really helpful just to be able to compare like what people are paying for it. And if prices are a little higher on Reverb, but the sellers are well vetted, they're music stores, you know, I don't mind, as opposed to like a Craigslist or some other sort of similar site where you're buying maybe from someone directly. It's sort of a little more like you sort of feel like you're taking a bigger risk. And I like that, you know, in some of the music stores I've said, the Reverb has like kept their stores alive when like something like a Guitar Center will put them out of, you know, business. They can't compete, but with Reverb selling used inventory, they can compete against Guitar Center, who's horrible for used guitars. Their stuff's a mess. All right, so Mike says I put a rail tail on my Strat and still don't want to pick it up. Damn you, Jackson. Yeah, you know, that's the fun thing about guitars. You find the one you like, and you know the specs line up, and you just go with it. You know, that's good. All right, let's go to Guitar Center sites that we're talking about. Their used inventory. Boy, I was really disappointed how they had responded to this COVID-19 situation. This was on 3/19. I got an email. They're like, they still have stores open. And they're like reducing hours. Like they've canceled lessons. And they're like, oh, we're cleaning the stores more. But like in my area, like every store in the state is like closed. You know, and like New York State and New York City are like basically like shut down. Like New York City shut down. Like that's crazy. You know, the last thing I'd want to do is like, oh, let me go to a guitar store and put my hands all over this guitar that someone else was just playing. You know, like it's really, I think it was a bad move on their part to try and like keep stores open across the country, especially when they have a relatively strong, I would assume, online store presence. You know, continue that. You know. All right, let's look at their used, just for example, what I was talking about. Look, here's another PRS. Perfect. So, like, all right, first, okay, great. Page didn't work. Let's pick this Ibanez. Also doesn't work. See, this is fantastic. It is very easy for me. Are any of these working? No. Apparently all the used stuff, it doesn't work. Well, to my point, you can see what these photos look like. I mean, am I going to want to buy, if I'm going to buy a Stevie Ray Vaughan Strat used, unless I'm in Guitar Center and I go, oh, look, they got it. Oh, look at the price is pretty, like, and I'm going to do it right then and there. Is this going to make me want to buy this guitar? This is what the photos will look like. There may be one or two, you know, where I feel like, you know, Reverb is just like, just dominating this area, you know. And then there's a whole bunch to choose from. And, you know, $15.99, you know, $12.50, $11.50. Obviously, this is mint, more expensive. You know, new, probably. Well, this is great condition. Let's find out. Let's go down the rabbit hole. Yeah, it doesn't say, but I'm guessing these photos look pretty like stock. Maybe these are the actual guitar. But yeah, so I feel like that's why Reverb is just doing so well, you know. I have to say, I like these. I don't know if anyone's played one of these Stevie Ray Vaughan Strats. They do play really nice. I think they're also a 12-inch fingerboard radius, even though Stevie was known for sort of a, you know, playing, I think, it's a later, the neck and the body are both different 60s years. But my sort of reason why I never wanted to buy one of these is just the pick guard. I mean, I like Stevie Ray Vaughan, but I don't know if I like him so much I want to have it on the pick guard. But I love the reverse tremolo. And that so it makes it sort of shorter, a little different angle. It's sort of a little more out of the way of your cable. We were talking about that earlier. So these are very nice playing guitars. So all right. How long have we been on for? I'm sort of curious. 50 minutes. Well, I said I'd do this for about an hour. Any more questions, comments? Throw them out there. Let me know. Should we look at some amps or should we look at some pedals? Pedals? Great. All right. Oh, this is funny. I was just talking about this pedal last night, and it's dropped 13% now to 175. I was saying, you know, maybe even if I wanted a vintage Rat from the 80s, mid to late 80s, because I loved the components in that circuit at that time, and I was a huge, nerd collector about this. It says, cosmetically is rough on the outside, internal is in great condition. I don't know if I would want to buy this without, like, plugging it in or hearing it in a video at least. I feel like, this seller would behoove them to have some sort of proof of the quality of its function. Let's see, what else is fun? Here's something I've never seen before. 1976 Electro Harmonix, oh my goodness. Y-triggered filter guitar pedal near mint with original box, but not working. Very curious about what this is. I don't even know this pedal. It's got like a Tolex coating almost? What is going on? See, there's, I've actually never heard of this pedal, and I like sort of some of the weirder electro-harmonic stuff. Anchorage, Alaska. Wow. It must be some sort of like Ottawa or something that's got an up or a down range switch. Yeah, okay. Vintage Ottawa filter with a simple interface. Feature an up-down knob for the direction of the wah and a range knob for determining the spread. Oh. Huh. Really fascinating. See, this was fun. I love when you come across something you haven't seen before. All right. Mike says you just picked up a cheap Fender Champion 100. It's great. Yes. Yes. Those are great little amps. I shouldn't say little amps. They're pretty loud. Yeah. This to me seems like sort of an amp that would be, like a really popular amp if you had a bar and you needed a backline amp that was going to take a lot of abuse. And I think, does this have the line out on this, the XLR? No, it doesn't. Yeah, two 12-inch speakers. I mean, it's going to move some air. Now, Fender just came out with their what is it? Fender Mustang GTX. Is that the new one? Pre-order, yeah. 50 and I think a 100-watt version. This is their new modeling amp. And it has a dual XLR line outs to run into a house PA or something, or for recording stereo effects. It does like like 100 some sounds. It's supposed to be, it's supposed to be. It's like the Mustang series that came out in. Oh, geez, when did the first ones come out? Like the Mustang 3 and stuff. They even had a floorboard version, which didn't sell very well, but seemed ahead of its time before like the Line 6 Helix and stuff. Yeah, I have one of these. It's a 112. The Tolex is real cheap on it. That sort of wants to peel up just by looking at it, but this is the version 2 of this because it's got the it has the line out. Mine does not. I so eagerly bought the version 1. But I feel like what stinks about these is they certainly don't have any sort of long-term resale value. Like, that's one of the things that makes me wonder about the new Tone Master amps is, those Tone Masters are they sound great. I played a Tone Master Twin Reverb, well, not the other day because we've been all trapped inside. Probably a month or so ago. Month and a half maybe. And I had played a Princeton, 68 reissue Princeton, Bassman, a couple other Princetons, a Princeton with a 12-inch speaker, and I was like, they all sounded like great, Fender amps. And then I went and plugged into the Tone Master, knowing that it was a Tone Master, but immediately forgot that I was playing a digital non-tube amp. It sounded so real and moved air and was clean and touch sensitive, and the reverb sounded probably better than any of the other reverbs on all the other amps. Obviously the Bassman didn't have reverb because it doesn't have reverb at all, but yeah, I was really happy with how it sounded, and then I was like, oh wait, yeah, this is like digital, and I can have that attenuator switch. So I turned it down really quiet and then turned up the actual amp, so that it was like, overdriven, like on 10. Like it would want to, like, if you played a Twin that loud without attenuation, it would like throw you backwards. In the size room I was in, and it sounded great. Like attenuation with their attenuator, their fake solid state power scaling, whatever you want to call it. It sounded like it sounded amazing. It was not like a cranked amp; just sounded great. But it could have been totally bedroom quiet, like don't even wake the kids, And it's got the line out for recording. It's like, it sort of felt like this is the future. It's like when you first would have come across like a digital like DSLR, or read a newspaper on an iPad or something, There's a comment here about, have I tried the Boss Katana? Yes. I've heard those played live too. I actually saw, this is going to be so YouTube nerdy, but when Rob Chapman and Rabia Masad came to New York City, and went and did some like little clinicky things at guitar centers to promote the new deal he had made with Guitar Center at the time. This is before the semi-hollow guitar came out. And they were playing katanas there, and it was a very packed room. There was not, you would not go to an event like that today. So there were a lot of bodies to eat up sound, and was the two of them on a little stage, and they were turned up loud. You could hear them really clear, and they sounded like really nice. And they were saying that they chose those amps because they're so consistent that as they go from different venues to do clinics, every music store or place can get one of those, and they always know what it's going to sound like. There's no like weird surprises or something, all right, so anything else? Anything we should look up? Please feel free to use the super chat just to make sure it doesn't get lost in the shuffle here. I'm very curious about this that Electro Harmonics pedal that we saw. What was it? This one. I'm gonna watch this, even though it's in Alaska. Why not? I like Alaska. I wrote a paper about Alaska when I was in elementary school or something. We had to pick a state. I picked Alaska because Alaska's awesome. And I sent away to the state tourism board and asked for like information about Alaska. This is before the internet existed. And what quaint times. And I never got anything back, and I was like a little kid, was so crushed. And then about like 6 months later, in the middle of the summer, like school's way over, I got a big thick envelope with like all this stuff about travel to Alaska and the history of Alaska and all this stuff. Someday. Is Alaska's what's their tagline? Yeah, is it still called Alaska Before You Die? To promote Alaska tourism? This was in 2005, this article. New York Times. Alaska Before You Die. Oh, let's lose that. So it says, basically they're... So it's not surprising that a small-scale campaign promoting Alaska tourism, which finds a funny way to encourage you to visit the state before you die, has generated notice on a large scale. And their tagline was Alaska Before You Die. It's stuck with me even today. So see, it was effective. All right, well, cool. I think that's it for tonight. This was fun browsing on Reverb. Thank you so much for all your comments and chatting and everything. And we'll try this again maybe later in the week. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or what. And I'll try to do some more, maybe some lesson material and figure out how I can maybe do something with the sitar, or we could talk about Indian music or something. Let's do that. All right. Thank you so much for watching. And like, comment, subscribe. All that fun stuff. Click the bell. Click the bell, too. All right. Cheers. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy self-isolation. Stay safe. Bye.